back to W.M.S.T. episode number 16. We're so happy to introduce our first guest on the podcast. As always, I'm your host, and the guest tonight we have at Seth Trollins on Instagram, aka Josh. What's up, Josh?
Hey, what's going on?
So we're so happy to have you, man. You little story. You were the first guy to actually recognize our podcast and actually give us a shout out. Kind of put us on the map. So I was like, we gotta have you as one of the first guests. So I'm glad you're the first guest on WMST, man.
Well, thanks for having me.
And also a little sidetrack, Josh is the first person I've met online in person at NXT house show. And then when we went to Ring of Honor, I called out his name and he didn't say hi.
Well, Matt Taven was over there. What do you want me to do?
Matt Taven is a fucking whore.
That's a story for another time, man. That's a big story. All right, with Josh, of course, we have our editor-in-chief, Ziggler.
Iron Man is the weakest Avenger.
Retweet.
And we've got the co-founder, Father Suplex himself, Shawn. What's up, Shawn?
Iron Man is the fucking best Avenger.
Sounds good, I guess.
Says no one. And dude, fucking your car, dude.
Oh, that was your car. That's weird. All right, and we've got Hound.
Hey,
Just
blast.
What's up, Hound? And we've got the man with no gimmicks, Cam.
I'm here to slay for the gays.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Is this Cam coming up?
That was the most random intro.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah, all right. I'm just gonna move on from that now.
Keep moving on.
All right. Here's a nickname I came up for our part-timer here, the man from State Farm, Tyler.
Thor is the strongest Avenger, way stronger than Iron Man ever will be. Because Iron Man... Never mind. Spoiler.
That is so true.
Yeah. All right. So with that, we're going to begin our interview portion. We're going to interview our guest, Josh, here. So, Josh, I know looking at your Instagram page, we know you're a huge New Japan Pro Wrestling fan and, and a big anime fan. So I had a question regarding New Japan Pro Wrestling. Usually the talk of the town is whenever New Japan goes into the Wrestle Kingdom season, everybody talks about them, everybody's hyping them. But outside of Wrestle Kingdom season, nobody really talks about them. So I wanted to get your opinion on what does NJPW have to do to be relevant, outside of that Wrestle Kingdom frame, and with All Elite coming up, what do they have to do to stand out and still be relevant?
Well, I think New Japan is still relevant, and it's gotten better since the Elite left. Like, I don't hate them, but it's been a little dry since they first got there, to be honest.
Yeah, and what do you think they have to do to stay afloat as All Elite is coming through, and all these other wrestling promotions are gonna give the fans an alternate? What do you think they have to do to still maintain their position as the number 2 best wrestling organization?
I mean, they do have Jericho and Okada coming up. I'm not really sure what else could they do.
You think they can do anything else to maintain that position, or do you think All Elite is just gonna come and take that position as the number 2 best company? What do you think?
I mean, I do like All Elite Wrestling, but I'm not a fan of everyone milking it, saying it's the best thing since sliced bread, and not even a single match has started yet.
Right. All right.
But it will in a few weeks.
Does it even have a TV deal?
Well,
yeah,
I think
TNT.
I heard they will announce it by Wednesday, so we'll see how that goes. All right, Josh, thanks for answering that. And all right, Ziggler, we'll go with you now. Go ahead.
All right, Josh. First of all, how dare you? Second of all, I'm just kidding. I really
I
don't
understood
have a
that
question. So, what?
I
can ask
understood
him.
that reference.
I understood that. Yeah, of course you did. So how's life? I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's a good
I was
question.
about to answer that actually.
How's life?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it treating you
fine.
well?
Are you not
Yeah,
depressed?
Yeah, my life's going great. Thanks for asking.
No, are you a fan of MCU like Marvel and shit?
A bit of 50-50.
50-50. So did you see Endgame?
Yeah, I did, and I cried. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
We all did.
Thor's the
Yeah.
strongest Avenger, not Iron Man. Suck it, Shawn. Anyways, go ahead, Cam or Tyler or Hound or that pussy Shawn.
Okay.
We'll go with
Somebody go. Somebody.
We'll go with Tyler now. Go ahead, Tyler. Ask your question.
All right. So you said you're like kind of 50 on the MCU thing, 50-50. What about just comic book movies in general? Do you like those at all?
Yeah, I'm into comic book movies. They seem
Okay.
pretty nice.
All right. So I don't know if you've seen all of these, but I'll have you rank these movies from best to worst. 5 movies. You got Infinity War, Logan, The Dark Knight, The Winter Soldier, and Spider-Man 2. Rank those best to worst.
Spider-Man 2, you mean the Tobey Maguire series, right?
Yeah. Yes, the Raimi movies.
2004.
Let's see. Infinity War, Spider-Man, Logan. What were the other topics again?
The Dark Knight and Captain America, The Winter Soldier.
I think they're all good. I can't tell what's good or worse. If you put Captain Marvel in that topic, then it's worse.
I didn't.
I didn't think it was bad.
Me neither.
Why don't you put Endgame in there?
Because
Like,
that's an easy
Captain
number
Marvel
one.
wasn't that bad. It just wasn't my cup of tea, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like a filler movie.
All right.
Like,
So
up
that.
to-
All right.
sorry.
Go ahead, Tyler. Sorry. Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, like I know you guys don't watch anime, but I just think that Dragon Ball Super Broly was like better than that, to be honest.
Yeah, I've thought about that.
I watched Death Note. That's anime, right?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
that
for
is.
sure.
The live action is not really that good. It reminds me of like Dragon Ball
the
Evolution.
show. I watched I own the show.
The anime, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of not into like animes or like anything else become a live action because if you remember Dragon Ball Evolution from 2009, that was terrible.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah.
Hey, don't say
True.
my shit.
All right, Hound. All right, Hound. You know what? You're up next. Ask your question.
All right. So, Seth Trollins. I know you.
Mhm.
I know where you got that username. Pretty cool. And
Yeah, I got it
been
from Trim because like no one else ever came up with it on Instagram.
Yeah, and I've been following you for a long time. Don't know like how many like years or whatever, but I've been following you for a while, and I wanted to ask you. So I know you like anime and stuff. I also like anime. Like recently, I watched Dragon Ball Super, where an episode where like he like found. This is awesome, and I know you like My Hero Academia because you always post about it. And so, how did you get into anime? Did a friend show it to you, and you just loved it, or did you just find a random episode of an anime on YouTube?
Well, you're asking me how I got into My Hero, right?
No, like how you just got into
Anime in general.
Yeah.
Oh, anime. I don't remember much of it, but when I was a kid, I was like I think it was at my uncle's house probably. I was like sitting in the couch and like a random anime played, and I think it was like Dragon Ball, and like I got so attached to it. That's how I got into the thing.
How did you get into My Hero?
I'm sorry.
How did you get into My Hero?
Oh, My Hero. The funny thing, it was not really funny. Last summer, I just watched it on the Toonami on Adult Swim. They have on weekends. I watched one episode around like season 2 or 3, I believe, and I really liked it, and I got attached to it a lot ever since. So it's basically almost a year for me now.
All right.
Sounds good. That was a good one. And Cam, you're up next.
I mainly just wanted to ask 2 questions. One, well, how did you get into wrestling? And 2, what made you want to get into the Instagram community?
Well, my cousins actually got me into wrestling around like 2006 or 7. They were like huge wrestling fans. I said, "What was wrestling?" And they showed me a lot about it. And we used to like play fight and whatever. When they say, "Don't try this at home," but we never listen. We just fight anyways. I got into that a lot. My favorite wrestlers was like John Cena, Jeff Hardy. You kind of get the thing. And I kind of wanted to be a wrestler growing up. And now that dream kind of died, but it could come back eventually. I mean, like, look at David Arquette. He was an actor, still is, and he's a wrestler, sort of.
Oh yeah, that hardcore match was insane.
He's a deathmatch legend because of it.
Right.
Now, what was the second question you asked?
How did you get into Instagram?
Oh yeah, funny thing. My original Instagram that I have now, the Seth Rollins thing, was on my personal account. I just post like random shit and like I just post like wrestling and whatever. And then like in 2014, I decided to just become a Instagram wrestling community member, I guess, because I wanted to like showcase what I like or whatever, other than just my personal stuff, really.
Yeah, I think a lot of us kind of joined around that time. That was a big boost for that community back then. A lot of new users.
Yeah, I was like one.
Yeah, like most of the IGWC or whatever you call it were like personal accounts, but then they turned it to wrestling accounts, so they make it something like that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's
And
what I was.
yeah. And Shawn, you're up. You got a question?
Yes, I got 2 questions actually.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, 1. Why don't you like Conor Reeves?
Why do I like what now?
Conor Reeves.
Bootleg Johnny Nitro.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Okay, but really, it's not that I don't like him. He's a wrestler, and I can respect that. Like I can respect him as a human being too. But it's one of those moments where, like, say you hate the Miz, but you want to meet Mike Mizanin. It's one of those things.
So, like, for the meme.
He said, is it like kind of like a meme, like hate on Conor Reeves?
Like, I hate him. I hate his like ego and what he does in that ring. But if he's a nice person outside of wrestling, I would like to meet him.
Right. I think he's got that kind of weird vibe to him where like he looks like a ripoff of a couple of wrestlers, and you're like, I just hate this guy.
I just don't
as long
like
as
his
he's not a
work either.
scumbag like Lars Sullivan, he's cool.
Yikes!
Yeah, because like Lars Sullivan actually replies to people.
Yeah. Oh, yo, Shawn, what was your second question?
All right, this is just this question is not based on comic books or anything. It's based on movie versions. So, everyone always asks this at work. This is one of the main things we always talk about. But who would win in a fight? Any of the film Batman or Tony Stark in Mark 50 Infinity War suit? And his best.
Any prep time?
Any what?
Mm-hmm.
Any prep time?
For Batman.
No, just straight go into it now. Like,
And
see,
he can,
I'm
and
fighting
Batman can be in any suit.
No, it's not the question for you.
I'm just asking. I'm just trying to clarify.
Okay.
No.
So Josh.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna make it simpler. Christian Bale, Batman, or Tony Stark, RDJ, Mark 50. Who would win?
Oh, Tony Stark, easily.
Yeah, I love both, but I guess I would go with Tony Stark.
Okay, and one more. Iron Man or Captain America?
That's America's ass.
Yes. Yes.
So I think his answer is Captain America, right?
No, that's Tony Stark.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
No, it's Tony Stark.
Cap is the greatest Avenger.
Hound, you are a virgin.
Finally, Hound. The first thing I agree with Hound. Yes.
There's a reason why the name of his first movie is called The First Avenger.
Hound, you were a virgin and you were always
Hound, this is the first time I'm agreeing with you. Hound, you are right. Captain America is the best Avenger.
Damn right I am.
He's the first. He didn't kill
He's
Thanos.
he's worthy. That's why he's good.
True, he's worthy as hell.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Josh, for answering those questions.
No
All
problem.
right, we're gonna go to our part 2. Let's talk a little bit about WWE brand split debacle, meaning what has been going on with this wild card situation. Now, I know the ratings have been down historically low recently, and there's been pressure from the networks, NBC, Universal, and Fox, for WWE to step up, the ratings, as Fox, has SmackDown airing in October, and under 2 million is not gonna cut it on that network. So my question to you guys is, how can they fix this whole mess of, because there's been a lot of confusion on what the wild card is, how it works, and all that. What do you think is the best way to set up the roster? Like, do you guys think it'll be better if everything is merged and there is no brand split, and the roster is the same for both shows, or do you guys think there should be strict rules on the brand split, where one roster for Raw, one roster for SmackDown? Now, for me personally, and I've told this to Ziggler like a couple of days ago, I would like to see something like where the World Championships are on one show, like how it is currently, Universal on Raw and WWE Championship on SmackDown. I would like to see the tag team division be exclusive to, maybe, let's say, SmackDown, and the women's division be exclusive to Raw. That way, the divisions are strong because they have all the talent available, and it doesn't really thin out each division. And I think it would be better for storytelling purposes, because you can have all your main stars on one show instead of being split. And they can do that same thing for other divisions. Keep one division on one show, and then keep another on another show. This way, the shows have appeal. Let's say people tune into Raw for the women's matches, let's say the cruiserweight wrestling, and of course the Universal Championship. And then on SmackDown, people tune in for the WWE Championship picture and the tag team championship picture. And maybe they can throw in, like, well, of course, there's the mid-card titles too. So maybe the U.S. title can still be on SmackDown and Intercontinental on Raw, or something like that. So that's how I would set it up. So Josh, I wanted to ask you, how would you do it?
I'm sorry?
Go ahead. How would you set up this whole brand split thing? Would you rather have the rosters come together, no brand split, or would you have like the brand split with the set rosters for each show? How would you set it up? So yeah, go ahead.
I would go with no brand split, honestly.
Right. And why do you think that?
Because I think that superstars on one show and other stuff, I just think that it's better that way. Like, seeing this wild card rule reminds me of just Raw Super Show 2.0, really.
Right. Yeah, that's a good comparison. Like, it's almost as if like those days we knew the brand split was kind of ending, and it did end. So this wildcard rule could be like a precursor to that. I agree. And Cam, what do you think?
Sorry. I want to try and keep the split because it's one of the things that I actually really like. I still get a kick out of the original brand split and some of the current incarnation. For me, I'll just take some cues from the old brand split. Like, say I've already taken some cues, like with separate tag titles and separate world titles. And I'm switching up wrestlers on some shows. Maybe do an idea that you have, like the original brand split had Raw for the women's division and the cruiserweights on SmackDown. So
right, yeah.
Maybe
I'm
do
glad you
something
like that
along the
idea.
lines of that, and maybe mess around with the idea of the tag titles.
Right, being on one show. Right, because you notice how the Hardys, Jeff Hardy went down, and the division is just so thin. Like they couldn't even come up with a viable option, so they had to give
It's
it to them.
paper thin.
So paper thin, right? And if you combine the tag team divisions together on both shows, it's a very strong division. Don't you agree?
Yes, like it means you just unify the titles, let them go on both shows,
Right.
and let the women's tag titles float on both shows as well, along with cameos in NXT.
Right.
And
Very
then
true.
maybe blend in maybe the cruiserweights in on the shows
Mm-hmm.
to get more eyes on 205, because a lot of people aren't giving 205 a chance,
Right.
and if they actually pull the plug on 205, people will say, "Oh, they didn't give a chance." Well, you didn't watch it.
Right. I mean, it's one of those things. It's so much content. Also, I think the submerging the divisions kind of evens out the playing field, doesn't overexpose each talent on the show.
I kind of don't want them. I'm kind of 50-50 on the women's division. Do I want them to unify the thing and have
Well, I mean,
one
technically
champion go on
speaking,
both shows?
we will get to the Becky Lynch part, but technically speaking, the titles are kind of unified right now. There is one champion.
But I mean, not having two matches in one night, as in
Right.
you
Yeah.
unify the titles. You have one contender, and the entire roster is going to gun for that title.
Right. I mean, that's like kind of another topic where how you set up the contenders and stuff. But yeah, I do agree. Kind of gives them more focus. Cool. And Ziggler, your thoughts?
I like the brand split. I mean, I've always liked the brand split, and I just hate the superstar shakeup. Though I wish they would just go back to like a WWE draft, like they used to do. But
or the draft lottery.
Vince
Yeah.
hates that.
But I like 205 Live. I watch it every week. It's fun, but I think like the cruiserweight should stay on 205 Live, NXT should stay on NXT, and the women's tag team titles. You guys actually changed my mind about this when you guys were talking that there should be one tag team title main and the main roster, and they should be able to float through SmackDown and Raw just like the women's tag team titles. So
Right. I do agree with
because
that.
there are not a lot, there are barely any tag teams on the main roster, and there are barely any tag teams on NXT too. So
Right. Very true. And Hound, your thoughts?
So I grew up with the brand split kind of like when I started watching wrestling. I kind of grew up with it, so I'm kind of partial nostalgia for it because I personally love the idea of having wrestlers on two separate brands, but sometimes it can get stale, and it does suck. I really whether we like it or not. The fuck? Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Whether we like it or not, the brand split is dead. It's just a matter of time when it's gonna die, and because I don't know, the only way for WWE to really have boosted ratings or whatever is to probably to merge the brands and have both wrestlers on Raw and SmackDown, and the wild card rule that Vince put on Monday. I mean, he even got confused by it himself when he was explaining it. If you didn't see
It just looked like he practically was coming up with it on the fly.
Exactly.
Flying by the seat of his pants. People don't like that.
Yeah. And it's just if you're gonna do something like that, just say brand split, it's over. The Survivor Series, 2016, 2017, were all so amazing because of the brand split. Just makes them just that more amazing and stuff. And yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Very cool. All right, so with that, let's move on to our second topic in this part two. Becky Lynch, she's gonna be defending both the Raw Women's Championship and the SmackDown Women's Championship. She's gonna be pulling a Seth Rollins in Night of Champions 2015. Probably, I don't know if she's gonna be defending it back to back, or maybe she defends it in the beginning of the show and then the main events it as well. So I wanted to get your guys' take on what's the best booking for Becky Lynch at Money in the Bank. Like, should she retain both titles or maybe she should lose one? Now, I've been seeing theories of something similar to last year happening where maybe she loses the SmackDown Women's title via a cash-in. And, I mean, it does kind of seem repetitive, but I don't know. I would personally like to see her just retain both titles. I think they can stretch it out a little bit more. I think her title reign has a little bit more potential. I think they have to see where this goes. I'm really interested in her keeping both titles. So let's get Josh. What do you think is the best booking option for Becky Lynch at Money in the Bank?
Well, she might probably lose the SmackDown title, but I could see her probably retain the Raw title. And I think maybe if Ember Moon could probably win the Money in the Bank ladder match, I could see her probably cashing in on her.
Right, make her a overnight star instantly, right?
Yeah, because like she's been with the main roster since like last year after WrestleMania. I just hope there's some, but they actually hope I hope they see some potential in her.
Right, that sounds good. And Cam, what do you think?
I came up with a theory on it the other day. I would have Becky retain the Raw title because Lacey Evans doesn't seem ready for a Raw title just yet. Just getting thrown into the spotlight after only having like a handful of matches. And she loses to Charlotte. Either she gets the cash in or Charlotte actually finally beats her. As for the briefcase, a SmackDown wrestler has to win the briefcase. It could be anyone. Mella, Ember, Mandy Rose. Storyline-wise, Bayley should be the one to get it since she's been rubbing shoulders with the two in the past few weeks. This would mean that Lynch gets shipped off to Raw. SmackDown has a feud to take him to wherever. It gets Bayley or whoever in the title picture, makes a star, gets the title back on SmackDown TV. If it gets Charlotte a ninth title run, it can get her a ninth title run, even if it isn't needed. And that's about it. So pretty much everybody wins in the end.
Yeah, I you know what, Cam, I do see your theory coming to fruition. I think that's very likely. That's a pretty good theory. Thank you for that. And Ziggler, what do you think?
I think that the Raw Women's title match is gonna maybe like kick off the show, and Becky Lynch is gonna retain. She's gonna beat Lacey, and then maybe like I don't know. I really don't know if it's gonna happen like right after like the Seth Rollins at Night of Champions. Is that what happened? Yeah.
Right. He lost one. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's gonna be like back to back, but if it is, like cool, I guess. But yeah, and then I believe Charlotte is gonna beat her because Lacey Evans is gonna cost Becky Lynch, and that feud is gonna go on to Raw. They're gonna continue that Lacey Evans Becky Lynch feud because I think Lacey's gonna she's gonna help Charlotte win the title. And as for the Money in the Bank, I don't think it's gonna be cashed in that night because they did that last year. So I would hope that Ember Moon wins because I think she's the best wrestler in the main roster right now.
Yeah, I do agree with you with the cash-in being repetitive this year.
Yeah, and plus it'd be nice to like see like them like the Money in the Bank winner like holding the briefcase for a little while, you know. We didn't really get that last year because Braun held it for like a month and Alexa held it for like an hour.
Yeah, true. Oh my god, that's a whole nother topic. Yeah, true. And Hound, your take?
I feel like they're gonna like maybe pull a ballsy move because I'm gonna be honest. I loved Becky Lynch's heel turn at SummerSlam. I thought it was the best thing ever. And then leading up to WrestleMania, it kept getting better and better and even more awesome. But I really feel like after WrestleMania, she's kind of like declined a bit. Her promos aren't really that good anymore. I don't know what it is about it, but it's kind of like the glaze or whatever off Becky Lynch kind of worn off. I don't think she's really that good anymore, even though she is still pretty cool. Like I feel like they may just like have her lose both titles in one night and have Lacey Evans win the Raw Women's title, then have some random SmackDown girl win the SmackDown title.
Wow, that is one bold prediction. I do disagree with you, but
I mean, yeah, she's so cool, but like I just don't feel like she's
right.
Like I don't know, maybe like she thinks, oh, I'm at the top, nothing's gonna happen to me. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. And Tyler, you got something to add?
I don't really got much, but like you guys said with the brand split, I think it's kind of weird to have both of the women's titles to have the champ show up on both of those. That kind of just kills the brand split idea.
Right.
So I feel like she should at least lose one of them. I don't really care which one because I don't really watch wrestling too much anymore.
Right.
But I feel like she should only hold one just to make a brand split if they're gonna
kind of
keep
mean
that up.
something.
Yeah.
Right.
'Cause right now, I feel like it means nothing.
Right. That's true.
Oh,
All right. All right. Let's talk some NBA playoffs. As it was a pretty crazy night tonight, as Houston Rockets lost to the Golden State Warriors. So let's talk
I hate
about
my
the
life.
series, man. Gosh, what a series! Like Houston really had their opportunity, to be honest. Kevin Durant went down. They could have won 2 straight and went to the Western Conference Finals. Now, I'm not going to say Harden choked, but
They were the chosen
did.
ones.
kind of choked, yeah. I mean, both games were winnable. Like, they were only decided by about 5 points each. And it's a heartbreaking loss for Houston Rockets, who could have won this series. Like, they won 2 straight games when Durant was playing, and they lost 2 when Durant went down. So it's a crazy scenario. But, you know, at the end of the day, I do feel like the Warriors are as weak as it gets right now. Like, I know they still have their 3 All-Stars, but Steph Curry is kind of injured. And, you know, you can't rely on Draymond that much. And Klay Thompson is sort of in and out sometimes. So I think whoever faces them in the Western Conference Finals, whether it be the Blazers or the Nuggets, I think one of those 2 teams has a real shot at taking down these weaker Warriors. And so we'll see how that turns out. So, Cam, what did you think of the series?
They tried. They really, really tried, and they failed.
Right.
It's mainly going to be Warriors are starting to look weak, and they're starting to find weaknesses and try to pick holes through their offense and defense.
Right.
And whatever team that they go through, that they beat, they're going to have a pretty hard time with. Even if whichever team wins in the other semifinal round is going to be spent.
Right, because that's also going to a Game 7. So, yeah, I agree. And Tyler, what did you think of the series?
This just proves my point that something needs to happen in the NBA. Like, another team needs to step up. Like, the Warriors lose Kevin Durant, basically their best player, or their best player for sure, I'd say, and one of the best players in the league. And what would happen if like the Lakers lose LeBron? They miss the playoffs, or they do really bad when he's gone. What do the Warriors do when they lose their best player? They just shut out the Rockets like no problem, really. I just feel like the Rockets definitely had a chance, and they just blew it once I saw Durant go down. kind of figured they would lose the game 5, was it, where Durant got hurt. I kind of figured they would lose that, but I thought they could come back, push it to game 7, and possibly win. But I just feel like some other team needs to get some big signing in the offseason. Maybe like the Lakers, very rare chance could get someone. But someone needs to take down the Warriors because I still don't see them going down anytime soon. And
They're not.
This series
They're
just
not.
proves my point further. Unless they lose one of their all-stars in the offseason. But we'll see. It's not like that'll matter, though.
Right. I do agree. Like, if Clay can leave in the free agency, KD can leave. So, I mean, if they both go to different teams, I think that'll kind of, like you said, Tyler, balance the tipping scales.
Yeah, we're gonna like even. I'd say.
What was that? Sorry, your voice was cutting out. Wait,
You just
Tyler.
gotta even out the league.
Right, even at the right. I agree. And speaking of
Yeah.
another series, we were just talking about the Blazers Nuggets series. That's gonna go to Game 7. Who do you think has the edge in that series and could go on to face the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals?
Me or
So,
Cam?
oh, sorry. Yeah, Tyler, you can go ahead and I'll do my pick then.
I feel like no one really has an edge in the series. Like I've actually watched the series. I watched the
The 4 OT game.
overtime game. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was. It just kept going back and forth. Like one team goes up by like 5 with a minute left. You think it's over, and then they tie it up, and it goes to another over. Like, I didn't have time to watch the last 2 games, so I saw they were kind of like more spread out games, like scoring wise. So just going into Game 7, it's kind of just like who knows who's gonna win, which I like. I'm hoping the Blazers can get the win because Damian Lillard is one of my favorite players in the league right now, and I hope him and the Blazers can get a shot at the Warriors, which probably won't end well. So
Right. And the funny thing is Charles Barkley is predicting the Blazers to go all the way to the NBA Finals. Now,
and win or no?
I think he said they will win. That was his prediction. Now, he might not be wrong. Like it might happen. Like they might go to the Western Conference Finals and maybe even the NBA Finals. So you know what? I'm gonna agree with Barkley. I think the Blazers can get it done. They are way more experienced than the Nuggets, who are basically the 2015 Warriors. Young and kind of primed to win a championship sometime in the future. So I think the experience of the Blazers is going to win out in Game 7. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a potential Warriors Blazers conference finals. That should be a dogfight. Yeah. And Cam, who do you think is going to win?
It's a crapshoot in a way. Like you don't know who's going to get it in the other semi.
Right.
I'm thinking Portland.
Yeah, it makes sense. Definitely. Yeah, that's another thing. And for the Eastern Conference Finals, Milwaukee is already beat the Boston Celtics. And man, Boston Celtics, talk about dysfunction, man. Kyrie Irving, in my opinion, cannot. He has shown, I think, this season he cannot lead a team to a championship at all. Like he wanted his own team, and the man is just not built to be a leader, and it really shows. What do you guys think about that?
I missed the 2016 Cavs.
True.
Take me back.
Take me back.
Right. And you guys give an interesting perspective because you both are fans of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Kyrie did feel like the Cavs weren't his team, and that's why he wanted the trade. So, Cam, what do you think?
He was the reason why we won the title in the first place.
Right, him and LeBron, right?
No, literally, he was the one that made that 3.
Right. But, they got to the point because of LeBron's performance and Kyrie's performance, of course.
Yeah, the both of them.
Right.
And Richard Jefferson's performance.
True. Don't forget Channing Frye.
And Channing Frye.
Yeah, Channing Frye.
Yeah. And Tyler, what do you think about Kyrie's situation? I'm thinking he's gone. What do you think?
I'm gonna guess he's leaving Boston for sure. I don't know where to. Maybe the Lakers by some chance. That'd be funny. But I've been hearing everything about like him going to New York, him going to Brooklyn. I don't know. I just know he's out of Boston for sure.
Yeah, he's gone, man.
Yeah, I feel
He's
like
leaving.
definitely
He's leaving.
needs like a veteran like that's good, like how LeBron was, to
Right.
help him lead the team. Because when he was in Cleveland, it was definitely like, yeah, LeBron was the guy, but Kyrie was definitely like up there with him.
Right.
But
I agree with that. Yeah. True.
right now, there's like no one supporting Kyrie. I mean, the Celtics are a good team, but there's no veteran player like that on the
Right.
Boston Celtics.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like they're better without him. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing with Kyrie is, I mean, the Knicks have one of the more interesting they are one of the more interesting teams in terms of cap space and potentially able to get Zion Williamson, and they can probably get KD and Kyrie too. So that's a scenario. That's the best case scenario I see for the New York Knicks, and I can potentially see them having that team with Kyrie. So what do you think about that scenario?
I don't see it happening.
I know it's a crazy scenario, but I mean,
I feel like that's just like too many things coming like together all at once.
For the New York Knicks, right? All of a
Yeah.
sudden, they've turned a corner.
It's just
with
it's like the Browns this season with getting Odell and Baker last year. I know we're talking about football,
right.
or we're talking about basketball right now, but I
Yeah,
can compare that to like the Browns the last two seasons. We go from winning one game in 2 seasons to getting this great quarterback. I won't say great, but our good quarterback, who we believe is our franchise quarterback. Then we get Jarvis Landry, who's led the league in receptions the year before he signed with us. You got Odell now. You got Myles Garrett.
Yeah, you guys are
like,
rocking.
I didn't mean to brag about the Browns, but that's just how I kind of compared it to the Knicks. Like, it just came out of nowhere, so maybe it could happen.
Right. And Cam, what do you think?
I see a lot of trades going on this season. I don't know what team might get it, but whoever gets it, they're probably set.
Right. Setting up to be a wild off season as the Warriors' time for dominance kind of comes to a close, or maybe not.
Please.
We'll see.
It's their world and we're living in it, and yet we're waiting on
the
somebody to knock them off their
2016 Cavs.
pedestal.
Right. And of course, the other series is Philly and Raptors going to a Game 7. That should be interesting. I feel like that's one of the more evenly matched teams. I honestly think either team can win. So we'll see how that turns out. What do you guys think? Got a pick?
Raptors.
I have not had time to watch this series, so I don't really know. I'll just go with Sixers because I know the Raptors always choke in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a sad truth, but I do kind of see that. But you know what, man? If they win Game 7, Raptors, I still, like I told you guys, I'm still predicting the Raptors to win the NBA Finals. Like, that's my bold prediction. I'm sticking with it. So we'll see how that turns out.
Do you think Kawhi's still going to leave after this year? Or what is he going to do?
I think if they lose Game 7, Kawhi is gone. But I think if they make it to the conference finals, or maybe even the NBA finals, I think he's going to stay. But if they win the championship, he's definitely staying.
Oh, yeah, he's going to stay if they win the championship.
Right.
I just remember last year, it was like, I want to go to the Lakers. No.
Right. Spurs are like, we're going to send you to Canada.
We're going to send you far away.
We're deporting you to Canada.
At least there's free healthcare in Canada.
Right. But yeah, it's crazy. Like this whole playoff runs depends on if they win the
Yeah.
whole thing, or if they don't win, they go into rebuild mode. It's crazy. We'll see how it turns out.
I miss the 2016 Cavs.
And so does Cam, I believe.
Let's just leave the memories alone.
No.
Right.
However the rest of that song goes, and I'll hold you in my memories.
We just got a free concert from Cam here. Thank you, Cam.
I want a refund.
You're too broke to get a refund.
Dang.
That's so true. I'm not even gonna argue that. That's true as fuck. It's the most truest statement ever.
Speaking of Ziggler, our next topic is Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 4 review.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
You gotta explain us the Starbucks debacle and what's been going on with the series.
I didn't even know about that until like after the show. And
Right.
I thought it was Photoshop when I first saw the picture. I was like, what the fuck? Like, why did someone Photoshop a Starbucks cup in Game of Thrones? That's weird. But then Game of Thrones sent out a statement saying it was a mistake. I was like, what the fuck, man? I mean, that kind of like that pissed me off, to be honest. That really pissed me off that happened. But you know what are you gonna do? People are fucking lazy. No fucking Starbucks in fucking long ass time ago. Anyways, in my opinion, Game of Thrones season 8, episode 4, called the Last of the Starks. In my opinion, it is the best episode of the season so far. It definitely made up for a lot of last episode's ending. Overall, this episode is just a great. It was just a great episode. I have no fucking idea why people are hating this fucking season. Like, I'm loving this season so far. Y'all motherfuckers are spoiled for hating this season. I don't know why. If you hate this season, just go read the goddamn books and get the fuck out of HBO. Stop ruining my time. Stop ruining my Game of Thrones. But yeah. There are lots of crazy and holy shit moments. Like, one that comes to mind is when you just see like the two dragons, Drogon and Rhaegal, just flying, just soaring through the sky with Daenerys' ships below them, and all of a sudden a fucking spear, it's called a scorpion in the show, it's like a dragon killing spear, a fucking spear goes through the chest of one of the dragons, Rhaegal, and you're like, what the fuck? My jaw was on the floor throughout that whole scene. And then another scorpion, the spear, fucking went through its wing, and then another one through its fucking throat. It was so goddamn gruesome. It was so goddamn brutal, and I loved it. It was awesome, but it was also sad. And that was like a jaw-dropping moment. It's like, what the fuck? So now Daenerys has only one dragon left, so that's gonna be fun. She had 3 to start out. Now she has 1. That sucks. And and also in the episode, they killed off Missandei. They fucking the mountain chopped off her head right in front of Daenerys. Missandei is like Daenerys' best friend and Grey Worm's girlfriend or something like that. Girlfriend, wife, who knows? Probably not wife, just girlfriend for now. Well, she's dead anyway, so fuck it. She got fucking beheaded right in front of Daenerys, and then the fucking last shot was just Daenerys just like all pissed off, like, okay, this motherfucker's gonna die. Because that motherfucker Cersei, I actually like Cersei. Cersei's a villain, I know, but I like her. She's pretty cool. She's pretty hot too, so. But I like Cersei. But I like Daenerys too, and it's gonna be crazy next week actually on Sunday. It's gonna be crazy on Sunday, that big battle. The next big battle. Hopefully it's better than the battle from last week, but I think it is. Because, well, I fucking hope so. If it's not, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. But if it is, cool. I can't wait for the next battle, and I can't wait for Daenerys to fuck some shit up with her dragon. I cannot wait. And overall, this was a great episode. I give it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 sounds good. Yeah, I did hear a lot of great things about this episode. Sounds good, man. Sounds awesome. All right, so with that, let's talk about. Sorry, this is the bonus topic because I did not include this in my original script, but Spider-Man Far From Home trailer released this week, and of course, spoiler warnings for Endgame. If you're one of the 10 people who hasn't seen it, yeah, that's a spoiler warning for you for Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. Now, let me just pull up my notes for this trailer. So unprepared. All right, so this was a great trailer. A lot of moving parts. It's basically the epilogue for what's to come in the MCU. I know a lot of us thought this would be the first movie of the Phase 3. And it's kind of like the epilogue and the aftermath of Endgame. Now, one of the few things that really caught my attention from this trailer was, Mysterio and Jake Gyllenhaal and this talk about this multiverse, which is the first time it's been referenced in the MCU, which is a huge deal for a lot of comic book readers. It's a very delicate line to run with for casuals, but I think there's a chance MCU can really pull this off and have some potential with it. Now, here's the thing, all right? There's been a theory going around, and I don't really like this theory. Actually, I kind of hate this theory, but at the same time, this theory kind of makes way too much sense for me to not talk about it. So Gyllenhaal's Mysterio talks about how it needs a sacrifice to save the world. He talks about responsibility in the trailer, and it got me thinking, who's a character in Marvel that really talks about responsibility? Uncle Ben. And who just recently sacrificed himself to save the world? Tony Stark. So I've been seeing this theory that Mysterio could be an adult Peter Parker that traveled through the multiverse to the main MCU world. Now, I know like a lot of you might hate this theory, but I don't know. It just kind of makes too much sense. I don't know why he would be there as adult Peter Parker, because he's got the Iron Man tech on. Looks like he's got some Iron Man tech on him, and he's got some Doctor Strange magic tricks going on too. So he could be an evil version of Peter Parker, apparently. So, I don't know. It kind of made too much sense, but not really a fan of the theory. But the one thing is though that it's kind of a stretch. But another thing is though, in the comics, like comic readers know to never trust Mysterio, and he could be straight up lying about everything, like the multiverse, like the snap tearing a hole in the dimension. I call that bull. Like Mysterio is a con artist. He's a actor. He uses special effects and everything. So this could all pretty much be an illusion to make himself look like a hero. And Gyllenhaal is one of my favorite actors. October Skies is one of my favorite movies. So I'm so glad he's in a comic book movie and especially in the MCU. So I'm seriously looking forward to his performance. I think his line delivery in the trailers were absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, overall though, I feel like this trailer has a really kind of a big summer blockbuster feel. It's gonna be the perfect summer movie, and it's gonna really set up a lot of things when it comes to the MCU. I think it's gonna be the first Spider-Man solo movie to break $1 billion. That's my prediction for this movie, and I think overall, I think they're gonna try some new things. It looks like they're headed in a lot of new directions. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this movie. I think the hype, the the momentum from Endgame is just gonna carry over into this movie very easily. And let's get Josh. Josh, what's your take on the latest Spider-Man Homecoming trailer? Far From Home trailer. My bad.
Can you repeat that?
What's your take on the Far From Home trailer?
I like the movie. It seems pretty cool, and wait. They had Mysterio in this, right?
Right. Yeah.
I kind of thought that Quentin Beck will look like the Spider-Man 2 PS2 Quentin Beck a little bit.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's a good callback. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. True. And did you have anything else to add?
No, I don't.
Okay, sounds good. And Cam, your take on the trailer?
It looks fascinating. It looks really fascinating. I'm mainly intrigued by the multiverse thing in the theory. It might be something that they could do to bring in more characters in the MCU, like the characters that they brought in from the Fox deal. That could be a way to bring them all into the MCU and the characters get movies.
Yeah, I feel like that's a cop out though if they do that. I don't know. I just wouldn't like that.
Go ahead, Cam. Continue.
No, I'm done.
Okay, sounds good. And Ziggler, you can go ahead and finish that up.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't like if they did that. It would be like a big cop out if like they were like the Fantastic Four and the X-Men were like in like another dimension. I wouldn't like that very much. I would just like the Fantastic Four and the X-Men to be like in this dimension, Earth 616, and yeah. Also, I think Mysterio is bullshitting all of us. I don't believe a word
True.
Mysterio says. Mysterio
Never
is
trust Mysterio.
Mysterio, Quentin Beck is a pathological liar, and you've seen the trailer. He has like a wedding ring on his finger. There's something with that, and he might have it out with might have like a vendetta against like Nick Fury and the Avengers Initiative because maybe like his like wife passed away or like something happened with like his wife like with the snapping and then like 5 years later or whatever, or maybe he was snapped and then his wife moved on when he got back, like his wife moved on and like got like a new husband or a boyfriend, and now he has it out for like Nick Fury or something like that. I don't know. Something's gonna happen. I don't believe a word he says. I don't think there's gonna be a multiverse.
Another thing.
Heel turn.
I gotta keep reminding myself that they're 5 years into the future with these movies.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It'll be weird to get used to.
Right.
Yeah, they are, and that's gonna be weird too. And also, yeah, with the schooling, like what the fuck is happening with the schooling? Was Ned snapped too?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Was Flash Thompson
Spider-Man
snapped?
and his friends all snapped. Spider-Man
that's
Mary Jane.
That's just really unlucky.
That's a coincidence.
Yeah.
Coincidence?
Nope.
I think not.
I wonder if Aunt May got snapped.
But yeah,
Who knows?
yeah. But I can't wait for this movie. I can't wait to see I've been wanting Mysterio in a Spider-Man movie for God knows how long, so I cannot wait. And I love Jake Gyllenhaal too. He's one of my favorite actors. Like watching him in Brokeback Mountain or Nightcrawler, he's just a great actor, and I cannot wait to see the portrayal of Quentin Beck. But yeah, don't believe a word he says in the trailer, in the movie, or anything, because he's gonna fucking.
Sure is a lie.
He's gonna stab Nick Fury and Spider-Man in the back. So.
Right, and I think Spider-Man was brought in to keep an eye out on Mysterio. I think Nick Fury might be skeptical. That's my thinking.
Yeah, Nick Fury most likely will be skeptical of him.
Right, exactly.
And also, what do you think that Nick Fury is MJ's dad?
Stupid.
Yeah, it sounds stupid.
That's like a big rumor going on. I think it might be true.
That is the stupidest
That's-
thing I've heard all day.
That's a big,
Oh! Fuck you then.
that's a big deviation from the comics, and I don't know if they can.
Well, they're not
keep
going
them.
for like the comics though. Like,
If
like,
Mary
they're-
Jane is Nick Fury's daughter, I'm straight up walking out of the theater.
I mean,
No, you're
I
not.
think I'll be fine with it because I don't really care, but I think it'll be cool.
Who
No.
knows?
I mean, like she's not like comic book Mary Jane. Her name is like Michelle Jones, not Mary Jane Watson.
Yeah.
Interesting theory.
So it's like a different MJ.
Right. Yeah, we'll see how that turns out. And Hound,
Michelle
what is your
Jones
take on the
theory.
trailer? What is your take on the trailer?
So I personally feel like this has been like my favorite Marvel trailer, like any MCU movies, or maybe Infinity War and a few others. But far from this, or at least the second one was for Far From Home. I feel like it has been pretty good, and it kind of made me want to really watch this movie because I don't know why. Ever since Tom Holland announced the name of the movie, I've been kind of skeptical. Like, it was Far From Home. Like, that is the stupidest title I've heard. I'm sorry if anyone likes it. Just Spider-Man Far From Home just sounds stupid. And like,
I mean, what doesn't sound stupid? Infinity War,
Okay. Anyways,
Endgame,
Okay, and then
Homecoming. Sorry.
The first trailer came out for Spider-Man Far From Home. Then I was kind of like still a bit more on it. Like, to me, it didn't really feel like it'll beat Spider-Verse and like, oh man, this movie's amazing, because I want every new Spider-Man movie to like be the best. But I really don't feel like Far From Home will do that. I don't know. Maybe it will. And I do like the theory that Mysterio, it could be adult Peter Parker. I think it's like a cool idea. Maybe, who knows? It's probably just like a snapped like thing. I really love the Mysterio suit. He could be like the Doctor Strange of his Earth, and his tech looks like a bit Doctor Strange and Iron Man put together, and not Iron Man and Thor that Flash said. Like, Flash needs to shut up. Like, no, not at all. And I think I've heard rumors that Chameleon might be in the movie, so maybe Chameleon is Nick Fury and Mysterio is working with him. That would be pretty cool to see. And then we can see the Sinister Six in the third movie with Vulture, Scorpion, Mysterio, and Chameleon, and maybe the Lizard. I don't know. But yeah, the trailer was pretty cool. If Michelle is Nick Fury's daughter, please no. The black suit looks pretty cool.
Why not?
Because it's just a stupid idea.
More stupid than Mysterio being Peter Parker in the future?
No.
Really?
No, just like, that idea just sounds so weird to me. Like, what? I don't know. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Also, first time Carol has been called Captain Marvel in the MCU.
Okay, who cares about that? All right, Tyler, go ahead.
Fuck Captain Marvel.
So, I actually really enjoyed this trailer. I saw some people on Twitter and YouTube complaining about it, with like spoilers for this, like Far From Home and for Endgame, when there's a warning for the Endgame spoilers, which I don't get.
Keep crying.
I like the trailer. The highlight of it for me was definitely Mysterio, like you guys all said. I feel like his design is one of the best in the MCU. It's definitely like top 5. I didn't rank those.
It's really comic accurate too, so.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Love it.
Like you guys all said, I'm fully expecting him to turn on Peter and Fury and all of that. Something you guys didn't say. I'm kind of excited for Maria Hill to come back. We haven't seen her in a movie since Winter Soldier. I could be wrong on that, or Age of Ultron actually. But like a full on like
Infinity War
screen time. That doesn't.
She was in Infinity War.
Yeah, true. But Winter Soldier, she definitely had the most character development. Not really, but she had the most screen time in that movie. And hopefully she does some cool stuff in this movie. Probably not, because she doesn't do much. But she's not a bad character. Another thing I like in this movie, we already got 4 suits that are confirmed, which I really like Spider-Man suits, especially the PS4 game. They have a lot of cool suits, so I'm just kind of a sucker for that. We got the Stark suit from Homecoming, Iron Spider's returning. And then you got the 2 new suits. You got that stealth suit, which kind of makes no sense because the fingertips, they're exposed, so that makes sense. And that new Stark suit, the red and black one, we don't know what it's called, but all the suits look amazing. And I hope we see a lot of the stealth suit, which will probably only be 1 scene. I'm hoping for like 2 or 3, which probably won't happen. And then I know you guys were saying earlier, what about the snap, and did Peter's entire school just get snapped? It seems like that group of kids, like MJ, Flash, Ned, and Peter, obviously, they all got snapped. So I'm hoping they at least like make a reference or a point that some of their classmates moved on to college or work or whatever they did in that 5-year period, because they would probably be in their college years by now, or their 20s, early 20s.
Mhm.
So I hope there's at least a reference to that, so that gets summed up, because I know a lot of people are complaining, like, what are the chances of every single kid getting snapped there? And for the theories, I don't really like the theory at all of MJ being Fury's daughter.
Maybe Thanos was like, "Fuck this spider guy. I'm gonna kill all his friends."
Just all that school in general.
Yeah, just killed off his whole school, killed off all his friends, his family. Like, fuck that spider guy.
Yeah, let's say
He
in the
whacked my
MJ
face.
Fury thing, I don't see them really doing a daughter-father thing again, because they did that in Homecoming. So I don't see them doing it again. That Mysterio is an older Peter theory. I don't see that happening either, honestly. And the multiverse thing, I feel like Mysterio could be lying about it, because like Ziggler said earlier, I feel like having a multiverse would be like an easy way out of bringing in these new characters like the X-Men, Fantastic, the obvious ones.
Or even bringing back old characters, you know.
Yeah, or bringing back old characters. Like, I saw this one. Or
What
someone
if
at work was
Mysterio's a
saying,
young Ben?
Right.
oh no. But yeah, someone at work was like, "There's a multiverse and they're gonna bring Tony back." I'm like, stop. That's all I got.
I mean, it was kind of referenced in Doctor Strange, but yeah, I think Mysterio, I don't think he has the power to control the multiverse or anything like that. But yeah, you know, we'll see how this ends up. It's a very interesting trailer.
He never said he had the power to control that. I think he just said, like, after the snap, he was like in this realm.
Right, exactly. But I'm saying, yeah, like, it can be a real possibility, like, that he did come from a multiverse.
Yeah, it can be a possibility, but Mysterio fucking lies.
Exactly. That's why it's Mysterio.
Yeah.
He's probably lying about it. That's what I was.
So yeah, I think he's lying about it.
Yeah.
Also, what do you guys think about like Miles Morales coming to Spider-Man? Because it's like, what if he didn't get snapped and he's like 5 years later? So.
I don't know. I mean, we have Miles Morales in the Spider-Verse, so I don't think I want to over.
Do they have the rights to Miles Morales?
Yeah, I mean, they can share it with Sony.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how that all works.
I don't know.
It's
Yeah,
confusing.
Sony and Marvel Studios have like a deal. I think
Yeah.
they share like some Spider-Man characters.
Yeah.
They don't have the deal to Venom yet for some reason.
Okay.
Right, but I don't know. I don't feel like it makes. I mean, it actually makes sense, but I don't think they'll overexpose that character in the the Spider-Verse franchise and the live action.
It'd be cool like if like Spider-Man like 3, in like Spider-Man 3, like he'll like hand the torch to Miles Morales, and Miles Morales will have his own trilogy.
Right,
That'd be cool.
exactly. Kind of like that. Yeah, sure. Sounds good. All right, so that was our review for Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. Josh, I want to thank you for joining us. It was fun having you, man. And hopefully give us a few more shout-outs and get us rolling even more.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you so much. And that wraps up our episode, and we will see you guys next week.